y'all. Let me turn this radio down. I don't want to get copyrighted for nothing. Y'all, let me tell y'all, it is a great day, man. And I feel like I just got through, walking / jogging today. I'm about to head home, take a shower, get myself together. But I just wanted to tell somebody, people will give up on their dreams right before they about to win, you have been consistent, been going hard, you've been seeing results, but you haven't been seeing the results that you have wanted to see, expecting to be much further than what you are. But here's the kicker, it's like, as soon as you are ready to throw in the towel, that could be the moment where your life is about to change forever. And I remember back in the time, not like maybe a couple years ago, after leaving my, you could say, 9-to-5 job, and I was inspiring to be in real estate. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna leave this job, the same energy that I was giving this job, the dedication, the motivation, the commitment that I was giving this job, to perform, is the same performance that I have to give after I leave this job. Like, I can't leave this job and quit on myself when I literally gave this job 6 years of my life. And I'm gonna use this job as an example because this job taught me about how your performance, because my pay was based off of performance. So the better that I performed at this job, the more I got paid. And it stuck with me till this point of, quitting the job and leaving the job, because I realized this job was paying me to perform better, to get paid more money. And at that time, I think my base rate was like $15 an hour. And then, at 100%, I think it was like maybe 16, 17. And then as you went up the percentages, you accumulated more money. So when I was doing this job, y'all, it was tough. Like, the first year was tough. But I told myself, I'm not going to give up, because, I had associates there like, man, I'm making $30 an hour right now. I'm making $25 an hour right now. I'm making $28 an hour right now. I'm like, and I'm actually like, how, you know what I'm saying? So my first year was tough. Like, I had to bounce back and forth because, I didn't have much seniority. I was at the bottom of the totem pole. So it's like I had to move over here. I had to move over there. So, but it was physically just kind of like, oh my gosh, like, when is this going to end, right? And it was times where I was ready to throw in the towel, like, quit, but I just kept telling myself, like, if I quit now, I'm quitting on myself. It defeated the whole purpose why I came over here, because at the time, I was just a warehouse person, kind of doing sanitation and cleaning up around the warehouse. And so once I was able to get this position, I was like, if I quit now, I'm going to go back to the same pay that wasn't really doing nothing for me. I wasn't making no, progression. And the pay that was like the top out pay for me to get, the max in that position, it would have took me like 2 years to make that, y'all. So I had a decision. It was either wait 2 years to max out in that position, or it could have taken me a year to be in this position to max out in that position if I wanted to go back to that position. But y'all, let me tell you, with motivation, dedication, and just knowing that one day was going to come that I was going to be making more money, I was going to be one of the top selectors that they had at the warehouse, meaning like, for females, because those dudes, oh my gosh, them dudes was something different. Y'all know dudes, y'all built different. Y'all already kind of have that athletics, in you feel me? You already got the dog in you. So it took me about, maybe I would say, a year and a half before I got any type of like seniority to where I didn't have to keep moving. And then I had to, learn a part of the rack, which we call was a rack. It's like the area that you select in and you pick items. So you can say I was an order picker, right? So it took me about a year and a half. Oh my gosh, y'all. So once I transitioned and I finally got a little bit of seniority to stay on the floor, I was getting my groove in. I started out pulling out like 130s, 140s, and then I could start seeing that on my check. Like, dang, I'm making $19 an hour. Now I'm making $20 an hour. And I was like, whoa. And then it hit me in the back of my mind, like, what if I could be better, do better? What can I improve on? Like, who could I watch or who could I shadow to see, like, what can I take from what they're doing to implement in what I'm doing to have a higher percentage to make more money? So I started to watch people. I started to watch the ones that were like performing at a higher percentage. And then I started to take things away from what they were doing to implement in my own system of the way that I was selecting these orders, y'all. And then I was on night shift at the time, and I was so tired of being on night shift. And I was like, these people moving too slow. I'm not going to ever get at the percentage that I want, because y'all know how night shift is. It's mad laid back, and it's like, people are very much chillax on night shift. So ain't nobody really trying to because it's nighttime. You know what I'm saying? Like, where are we in a rush to go home? So anyways, I got tired of that. So I went to day shift. Oh my gosh. The whole scenery of day shift was so different. It was like everybody was bam, 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 like on it, like wasn't wasting no time. Everybody was hustling. And I was like, you see, this is what I need. This is exactly what I need. I need to be around people who is hustling, who is getting that bread, and who is moving in the way like they got somewhere to be. So that's what happened. I got on day shift. I seen a few people. I was hearing about, certain people pulling at higher percentages, and I would just watch them. On days that I wasn't, order picking and I had like a delay, which means like, clean up other area or doing something that the warehouse needed you to do, I just watched other people. Now, this is why I'm saying this, because sometimes you will try to create your own blueprint, and there is already one that's already laid out for you, and you just have to take that blueprint and improvise it in your own way to make good use of it for yourself. And I just feel like people in life that overcomplicate things, it's like, why reinvent the wheel? If it's something that's already set in stone, there's a blueprint to it, and all you have to do is rinse and repeat. That's all you have to do. You may have to tweak a little things to do it a little bit in a way where it's more, better for you, but don't reinvent the wheel. And it's like the moment that I realized that in my own life, I'm not going to reinvent anything that's already working. And you literally can apply this to anything that you're doing. If there is a field, there is something that you're currently doing, look for somebody that's already doing it and see what you could take away from them to put into your own system, into your own work, into your own whatever you got going on, to be successful. A lot of people, like I said, try to reinvent the wheel when the wheel is already in motion. So that's exactly what I did at this job. I said, you know what? If I continue to do it my way and it's already people that's doing it their way that's already worked, it's going to take me longer to learn this. But if I just stop and, observe and ask people questions and see what they're doing, I might have a chance at this. And that's what I did. But there was one person at the time that stood out to me in our position, and his name is Will. Will was a chill, cool, laid-back dude, but every time I would come and talk to Will and say, Will, what you pulling today? My boy would be like, yeah, I'm pulling 150, 160. Man, let me tell you something. Will was walking. He was walking all of his orders, and it used to be like so funny to me, because I'm watching everybody else run, speed around the rack, and they ain't even pulling as high. And this is what I want to tell y'all. That's why they always say the turtle wins the race, because it is not a sprint. Life is not a sprint. It is a marathon. It is a marathon. Like, you have to keep going, and that you got to have a pace, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I realized about Will. Will had a pace. He wasn't running, he wasn't tired, he wasn't sweaty, and Will did this consecutively every single day. He put the same percentage, if not higher, walking. And I said to myself, I want to be like Will. Why? Because I didn't want to overexert my energy trying to perform, knowing that I had to do this 3-4 times out of the week. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, when you're sprinting, you can get burnt out easily. But when you're at a pace and you're going through that marathon, it's like, okay, you have a pace. So it's easier to be done. So guess what, y'all? I took that from Will. I adjusted some things, you know, on my headset during that order picking, right? I adjusted some things. And I started to notice that my performance got better and better and better and better, to the point, you guys, that I got up to 230% one time, making $35 an hour. And I held that for the rest of the time that I worked at that job, y'all. My bad, y'all, because I really need to get me a little suction cup. But for the rest of the time that I worked at that job, y'all, I held that percentage. Like between, I would say 210 and 220, I was there. And I was making $35 an hour. I even got to the point where like some people was asking me how I was doing it, and they didn't even realize I learned from an OG that was already there. He wasn't overexerting himself. He was going at his own pace. He learned the rack. You get what I'm saying? And I had got so good at it, you guys. I could close my eyes and I could tell you where everything was at, the check digits, you know, what was in that slot. I could tell you everything. And an order that will probably take a person 60 minutes to do, I can do it in like 15, 20 minutes. So I'm saying this to say, in your life, it doesn't matter what you're doing. It is a marathon. It's never going to be a sprint. It's never going to be how fast you go. It's the pace that you're going at. And the thing is, as long as you're moving at a comfortable place, you will see results. Everything that you want, everything that your heart desires, as long as you stay consistent and dedicated and you persevere, even through the triumphs and the hardships of what you're doing, I'm telling you, the results are going to come. And sometimes I have to remind myself that everything that I've done in my life up until this point, it was never a sprint. It was a marathon. Even getting into real estate, it was never a sprint. It was a marathon. You get what I'm saying? So you may have people in this life, in this lifetime, that you may think it happened overnight, but you really don't know what those people went through behind closed doors, what they had to do, what they had to endure. To us, it looks like overnight, but you don't know how many long nights, early mornings it took for them to really be where they are. So that's why it's like, don't compare yourself to other people. Don't compare yourself to this person, you know, being here and you're over here. Stay in your own lane. There is so much room in your own lane that nobody will ever need to merge into your lane, because it's so much room. It's so much room for you. And then the thing about it is, when you realize that every aspect of life comes with a learning curve. There's a reason why you don't get something so, you know, instantly. It's for the simple fact that if you do get it, you know, so quick, would you really appreciate it? Would you really take care of the thing that you got with instant? No. Why? Because you didn't go through anything to keep it. You know, and that's just like, I was talking to a friend yesterday. It's like, I always ask myself, like, why the people that was born into everything mistreat all of the stuff that they have? Why? Because they didn't go through nothing to get anything that they have. Most of that stuff was given to them. But had they had to go through something, a struggle, or they had to overcome obstacles and things of that nature, they would treat things so much differently. See, in my life, I didn't have a lot of things. You know, I wasn't given a silver spoon. So everything that I have, I'm very much grateful for. And it's like, you have to have the same attitude, gratitude at all times. Because, like I said, if you were to get those things right away, you will lose it just as fast as you got it. But like I said, in life, it is a marathon. So once you realize the stuff you had to go through, the things you had to overcome, and not only that, it builds so much character. You are building up your character. You get what I'm saying? So you really have to trust the process and understand that nothing comes overnight, you know? As much as a lot of us want it to happen, nothing comes overnight. And you gotta understand, the turtle gonna win the race every time. And just because somebody got motion and look like they doing something, sometimes people be moving, but they ain't really going nowhere fast. You get what I'm saying? It looks that way, it appears that way, but that's not really what's going on. So it's like, you have to trust yourself, and you have to believe in yourself that I'm going through what I'm going through right now because I gotta appreciate this moment. So when the time do come, I understand how to handle it. I understand how to, you know, hold on to it with grace and love and appreciate it because I went through so much, I endured so much to be here. And y'all, you know, when I got to that point of making $35 an hour, I appreciate it because now I knew I didn't have to work 40 hours just to make $1,000 to $1,200 a week. I could work less hours because I was making more money. You get what I'm saying? But I appreciated that because it came with the benefit of performing at a higher level to get something back out of it for myself. And sometimes you have to realize that, like, you have to perform every single day, no matter what. You have to perform day in and day out, even when you don't even see results. You have to show up. You have to give it all that you got. And that's just like where I'm at with everything. It's like, how can I be wanting something and I'm not showing up every single day for it? I'm not focused. I'm not consistent. I'm not giving it the best that I got. So that's what you have to tell yourself. Like, am I really giving this the best that I got, or am I half doing it just to say that I'm doing it, hoping that whatever I throw at the wall sticks? No. This year has been kind of one of those years where I realized, man, I have been consistent, but I haven't been consistent enough. And you have to check yourself sometimes. Be real with yourself. Like, you can't be out here saying, like, man, I've been working hard, and you know darn well you only been putting in an hour here, an hour there in your craft or your business or your work. No, night and day, like clockwork. That's what you need to be doing. Being consistent, being devoted. Even when you don't feel like doing it, you're doing it. You know? So I'm saying this to say, like, don't miss out on your opportunity because you don't have, or you don't see the results right away, or you feeling like throwing it in the towel because you don't think it's not coming. It is on its way. But you have to stick to it no matter what. You have to stick to it no matter what results you see, no matter if you feel like, dang, man, this just ain't moving how I want to move. Because one day you're going to wake up and one day you're going to be doing that same consistency you've been doing every day. And whatever it is you do takes off. And then you're going to look back and say, wow, had I gave up all those hard days, long nights, all those tears that I've cried, I wouldn't even be experiencing what I'm experiencing right now. And I'm telling you, you have to know that. That's just how, you know, I felt about everything that I was doing. It was like, if I give up right now, how would I feel knowing that I quit when I could have just kept going? I could have kept thriving, striving. Like, don't quit. Don't quit. It's easier to quit. It's easier to quit. That's why people say if it was meant for everybody to do it, they would. But it's easier for people to quit than to keep pushing through the toughness. And let me tell you, my friend, I don't believe you're a quitter. So this is your sign right here to not give up. to not allow things to throw you off of doing what you want to do. You got this. You get what I'm saying? I know we get in our mind sometimes. We self-sabotage. We think about like all these other factors because life will life. But at the end of the day, like I tell anybody, if you really wholeheartedly believe in something that you're doing, that it will work, you just have to tell yourself every single day that it's going to work. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care what nobody feels. It will work because I say it work. I believe it, and I'm going to keep doing it. And one day I'm going to be able to look up and say, you know what? I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I went through with it. I'm glad I didn't give up on myself. I'm glad that I came out on the other side with a W. And I'm just telling y'all, man, life will give you what you deserve, and you will earn what you put in. The work that you put in, you will get that back. You know what I'm saying? But you got to have a good mindset, a good energy. You know, everything about yourself. Really wholeheartedly believe yourself. Don't limit your beliefs. Don't let nobody cloud your mind. Be focused. You know, if you got to pump yourself up every single day with some affirmations or, you know, some motivational clips, do it. Because that's what you need to keep you going and keep you pumped and keep you striving for whatever greatness you are trying to be and become. And I'm telling y'all, I'm so proud of myself. I have to give myself a pat on the back. And you also have to do the same for yourself, because whether you know it or not, we don't give ourselves enough credit. So please look back on your life and think about all the things that you accomplished and give yourself credit. Show to yourself that I remember this time where I went through such great grief and, you know, trials and traumas, but I overcame these obstacles. Like, that's what you have to do. You literally have to look back on your life and say, you know what? When I did this, I came out on top every single time. Every single time. And you just have to have that about yourself. Just telling yourself that, like, I've been in this place before. I know what it takes to get where I'm going, and I'm going to stick with it, you know? So I just want y'all to know, man, y'all got this. Be great, be blessed, and know that anything, you can do anything, you know, because it's in you. It is in you. You can do it. And I'm telling you, because I am the person that's overcame, and I've done it with my job, with being an entrepreneur, with just life in general. I'm not scared to go out there and try new things. Why? Because I know it's going to help me in the long run. So remember again, the turtle always wins the race. It is not a sprint. It is a marathon. All right?